weeks ago and decided to move it over here to this server. The other server that we had it on, there was some good activity, but we felt like if we were going to do stuff like this in the future, that we really wanted to like bring it somewhere where more people could benefit from it, because we're spending time putting into things like this. And so really what this is for is a study group for the PWPP. We are on beef is at week 6,
Yeah, week
technically.
6.
Okay. So we're on week 6 of 7, but I have not spoken with Beef about this yet. I kind of think that we'll do this week, next week, and then maybe we can do another one of these, during after when we're taking the PWPP. Plan for tonight is
Yeah.
Beef going to take us through his quick and dirty reporting a web app um, kind of process and workflow. So I'll go over just real quick. Let me do a little screen share. I've been putting together a study guide. If you all like to study how I study, then I've put together a little study guide that might help everyone out. So let me do a little screen share. And so right now we've got most of the sections from the first course that you're supposed to make your way through. The API course I still need to do, and within each of these sections, I'm trying to really focus on free stuff, y'all, because I don't want to ask people to pay like extra for this training. So I've been trying to find extra videos, labs that are free, and I put in here if they're not. So if you want to go overboard like me and kind of do extra work, if you're not getting or understanding any of the topics that are being discussed, this is kind of a good thing here. I'm also trying to do flashcards for each section. So this is, for instance, the basic ones. And I'm sorry for killing you guys with a white screen there. That is intense. So that's what we've got on this side. Next week, we're going to do an interview with someone who's passed the PWPP. Of course, because I work for this company, and just in general, we can't share like specifics, and this person can't share specifics. But it'll be pretty good to just sort of like chat with somebody about it. So with that, we normally spend, what did you say, Beef? Like 30 minutes to an hour kind of going over things. So we may finish this up a little bit early if Beef sort of makes his way through reporting and then there's no questions. But y'all feel free to like interrupt us, raise your hand, jump on stage. If you've got specific questions with that, I think I will hand things off to Beef and he can kind of get
Yeah.
started.
It usually runs, 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what is being shared. And, you know, the reason to do the course from TCM is because Alex can teach the material. And so I don't think there's any reason to teach the material again, but we're kind of all here to, share what we're struggling with or maybe some extra things we found useful. Um, I got my screens all tied up from recording, and would you mind sharing the YouTube link for the playlist for the previous episodes? I
Oh
have
yeah.
so much
Well,
going on all of my screens right now.
there's actually a couple cool things, y'all. So this is um, Beef's YouTube channel. You can find all the prior streams here. And then I'll say this because he doesn't. But if you want to say thank you to Beef and like, basically like get Beef paid a little bit, there's a referral link also on the study guide. So you can go to the referral link, and if you click that and then you buy a certification, he gets a little bit of cash for that. So if you want to pay him back for like all the work that he's doing in the community, there's that too. I do not have one of those links. I work for the company, so they already pay me.
Wait, they already pay you though. Wait a
They do
minute.
already pay me. Yeah.
Wait a minute. So I currently work as a web app pen tester. I look at web apps all the time. I do reporting all the time. I think one of the most intimidating things for people coming into this or any of these certifications when they don't have any experience. You probably have plenty of experience going through the labs, playing on Try Hack Me, playing on Hack the Box, but nobody ever asked you to write about the stuff until you go to take the certification. Ange can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think either one of the courses for the PWPP has a reporting section. I think the bug
No,
bounty
not
course does,
yeah.
and it's kind of recommended that you do the bug bounty course in the PWPA first. So, I guess there is a work or something on reporting included, but you know, if you're still nervous about it, or if you're just going straight to the PWPP, forgetting about the PWPA, and you don't do the bug bounty course, I'll share a little bit about how I think you can write a simple report to pass this exam. Maybe you won't have to stress so much. Now, the report you see on the screen now is partially taken from one of the reports that TCM shares. They have a couple, I think they're on a GitHub repo somewhere. They have a couple publicly hosted reports for um, use with their certifications. I think they include it in like the PEH course and over it. But the web app reporting is generally a little bit different than, I think the reports they have hosted up are more focused like an internal or an external pen test. So a web app pen test will be just a little bit different, but not too much.
Yeah.
So cover sheet, this is almost basically taken from the TCM report. Same with this. But this is, even though you're taking a certification, they ask you for every certification. Please submit a professionally written report, or however they word it. They don't necessarily tell you, what exactly has to be in it, other than, a few things. You need to, show the vulnerabilities you found, your process for finding them, and then they also ask you to give remediation recommendations like you would in any pen test report. So, this screen right here, it's not too important. This might be almost completely copy pasted from their report. The same with the assessment overview, other than it's altered a little bit in a way that talks more about testing a web app. I don't think they have like a testing guide included in their report at all. So that's something I added because that's just generally more accepted for what we're doing with a web app. So the assessment overview, we're just talking about, at a really high level, what we were asked to do, kind of showing we understand what we were asked to do, how we're going to do it at a high level, and then the process involved. The assessment components, we're talking more on a granular level. What are we looking for in this web app? Listing out some different vulnerabilities that we check for, maybe some testing methods that we use. I think this would probably be optional to include in your report, but to keep it as a mock professional pen test report, we're just showing the CVSS version 4 score range, so the people reading it kind of get an understanding about how we rank, what a severity ranking means when we're assigning it to each one. You're always going to have a scoping page. I would include that too. It doesn't have to be anything special. It can be the what you're doing and the IP or the URL that they gave you to test on. And in the scope exclusions, that's going to be included with most rules of engagement provided by, in this case, the certification or the company that we're testing for. I would include that in your scoping document as well. And then any, client allowances they gave you in this case, they're giving you a VPN connection. This is a very short executive summary because I did not write a ton of vulnerabilities for this report. This is just a couple things in this report to show you the style you should write or report in. Your executive summary for the exam, if you pass, is hopefully going to be longer this because you're going to find more than a couple things. But in the executive summary, think about it like you're talking to people who don't know a ton about the technology that you're talking about. You're discovering, or I'm sorry, you're telling them in a way that they understand the business impact of what you found and leaving the technical details for later on. That's going to be for later on in the report when we're actually talking to the technical folks reading the report, and those are the ones responsible for fixing it and really understanding what's going on.
Hey, and beef on this point, if you don't pass one of the TCM exams, I would absolutely make sure that you walk through where you are in detail up to the point where you're having to leave off, because if you're actually submitting a report for a hint, that can be really helpful to ensure that you're getting the right hint. So if you're looking at something like this and you're like, hey, I didn't finish this first one, which me to y'all, I didn't pass the PNPT the first time, so ain't no shame.
No, not at all.
But yeah, so I would say just make sure that you really document where you're leaving off at here in the executive summary.
That is a good hint you just gave.
Why, thank you.
Moving on, the I'm sorry, this is where we're telling about telling a story about what we found in a way that executives or management can understand. And then in the executive summary, we're listing out um, our vulnerabilities, but still talking about them in a way. This is everything we found on this test. These couple things. Hopefully, your main findings are going to be much longer than this, but I just put one example. And then usually, what I would do in this case, additional findings are just going to be small, kind of like low and informational things that as somebody who doesn't work in web app pen testing already, it's probably stuff you're not going to be used to reporting, like detailed error messages, that kind of give up some information about the app, or outdated JavaScript libraries, content security policy misconfigurations, uh, things not quite right with the headers. So in this instance, do that also. You're not doing a web app pen test report, but they ask you to submit a professional report, and they may or may not ask you to list other findings as well. And then we move on to our tester notes and recommendations. I generally don't put a lot in this for a certification. Um, it just kind of talk a little bit about maybe some really bad things you found, or also try and talk about some good things that you found.
And beef, I don't know about you, but in a real pen test, we actually, like when we're doing a debrief with our clients, we stop at that section. Like, we kind of ignore most of the rest of the stuff, lightly go over the rest of the report before that point.
Yeah,
And that's the first section that we pause on to really say, this is the good, and then these are the bad things. So
yeah.
um, that's just kind of a real life situation.
So it's a little bit different for me because I don't present to any kind of executive clients. I'm mostly reporting directly to developers. So they kind of just want to hear, like, all right, what do I got to fix so I can get this app back to production?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, absolutely correct. Um, this is where we'll list out our findings in a more technical manner, technical findings. And I put my remediation recommendations directly with each vulnerability. I think on the TCM reports they do it later on. I kind of just like to get it all done in like section per vulnerability. So we're talking about the impact that had on the application. In this case, we were able to access an administrative panel and just pretty much delete every user in the app. This is a think these screenshots are just from a Portsphere lab, so I'm not giving away any kind of certification information or exam information, or this isn't client data. This is just from Portsphere. They're uh, they're all free, so not giving away any paid material. So I'll just explain. The way I'm explaining it in this report might be a little bit more detailed than I would do in a this report. The reason being for that is I'm doing this for a certification and I'm showing my work. So I'll talk about, during the unauthenticated test, I noticed that, Zap Spider caught robots.txt. It came back with a 200. I inspected the response and I noted that we had this administrator panel that we hadn't known about before. We'll go back to the browser to confirm, we actually do have access to this admin panel. You can see the user sitting here. Big screenshots, nice and clear. You don't want to fail your exam because your screenshots are tiny or blurry or they don't actually show. Don't like blank out any URLs or blank out any users. Might do that in an actual pen test. If it's like confidential data, we're not doing that in a certification exam. They need to see exactly what you found and what you did.
Yeah,
We move
and
along.
I
No, go ahead. Sorry.
echo that 100%. In a normal pen test engagement, you're gonna blur out things that are sensitive. For the TCM stuff, like, don't even waste that time. Don't use the time blurring anything out. They want to see your steps.
Very important to keep in mind. I actually know people who failed because they did that. um, and for this finding, that's the end of it. That's enough screenshots. We proved we deleted all the users. Um, if you need 20 screenshots per vulnerability to actually show and tell the story of what you found, do it. Your report's going to be 40, 50 pages long. That's fine. That's what they want. I can tell you that from experience. And then our remediation recommendation at the end, usually a link or two or several for, more resources on fixing it. Um, Again, with our remediation recommendations, we're kind of keeping it like high level. We don't know the ins and outs of their application and the technologies that they're using. So, for a remediation recommendation, just pretty general is fine. And then, you know, just to show you like a reporting of like a low or a informational finding, something like content security policy or headers. Learn how to look at that stuff. It's going to be very important for actual web app pen testing career. And a lack of a content security policy maybe could be a little bit more severe if we were actually able to get cross-site scripting or something on this application. In this case, it'd probably be just a lower. But report these things too. I don't know if if you found all the criticals or highs or whatever you needed to find to pass a cert. I don't know if they would really care if you reported every other little thing you found, but I think putting in the effort to at least do a few would probably helps and gives you some good practice for the future. Um, Remediation recommendations for that too. You keep it very general. Just give a again, this isn't application specific. You don't know their exact needs and abilities. You just give them like a very general, what is considered a safe content security policy. And then this is kind of left over from DCM report that I took it from, but it's something that you might actually do for a client if you have other scans, like whatever you're running, um, Nessus or whatever. If you have those scans, you might need to, um, submit them to a client. You're not going to need to do that with this to pass the cert. I don't think you could upload extra files, and I don't think they would appreciate it. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
you prove it by the screenshots. That's how you're proving it here on a TCM certification exam.
yeah, a couple quick things just to note. Um, always submit in PDF format. I think I'm gonna, if you want, I have a Word doc of this that we can put on the GitHub.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like a sample for people, but always submit in PDF form. I don't think they would reject it immediately if you submitted anything else. Ange could probably speak to
Yeah.
that better.
I'm pretty sure it's like the website's sassy if you try to submit it in Word, but I can't confirm.
Well, we're hackers, so we can get by that, right? And
Oh
then
It
they'll
yeah.
it
hire you.
actually says on the page when you're uploading it, there better not be a payload in here.
Yeah.
Just some advice for naming your report when you upload it. I like to just use my name, the certification that it is, and the date. That's a me thing. That's not a TCM thing. But they probably appreciate it when you don't submit some unnamed file or something weird.
Yeah, Kaiser asks, what about including tool logs in external text files? And on a normal pen test, we do this all the time, but on a TCM report for certification, you actually only have the option to upload the one item. So you can only upload the PDF. So best bet there, just screenshots and then toss them in the report, and you're good to go.
Somebody asked earlier what I use for CVSS. I usually
That's
just
Tom.
use first. Yeah, I'm not too like picky about what it is. Most of the stuff I report, I kind of already know the score, and we actually don't. It's pretty rare that we find something that we don't um actually already know the CVSS for, or what we right around where we think it is for where I work anyway. And when we do, yeah, I usually just use first.
Yeah, I'll say for us, most of the things that we've I mean, we template as much as we can, so thankfully we don't have to do any, not any, but calculations for a lot.
Yeah.
But I tossed the link in there, Beef. If you have a better one, just like let me know. I'll go find it.
Oh, that's the right one. There's just the 4.0 now. They can find it.
Look at that. I got it.
They're resourceful.
So IDOR right there. You can just not really. Just,
Just change it to a 4. I'll
just change it
report
to
that.
4.
Get on
Oh
integrity.
no, hacked.
That's all I got. Hope somebody may find that useful. It's
Yeah,
I really do think the reporting part is one of the most intimidating for somebody first starting out. If you do not do this at all for a living, uh, should you start with the PWPP if you're already a SOC analyst? I don't really know how to answer that because what are your goals? And if you want to do a web app cert, the PWPA is not a bad start to get your feet wet if you like know nothing about web app.
I would say if you can look over the bug bounty course, and if you are confident that you can do each attack in the bug bounty course, which is the one that's needed for the PWPA, then maybe yeah, go straight to the PWPP. And there's a couple people in here with their certs, so y'all feel free to jump in and have opinions on this too.
Yeah, I would say if you're trying to break into pen testing, definitely know your web app because any place you work, you're likely going to be doing some web app. I bet you the majority of what they do is web app, with some
Yeah,
exceptions. But I know a lot of companies, 70% of their work is so or more.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You should be able to see the course overview on that site, and then yeah, just like check it out.
I would say if you could afford to take the PWPA first,
Yeah.
and you haven't really done a lot of web app yet, then it's not a bad call at all. Only your pocketbook can decide.
Right. Yeah, what I can tell you is both Beef and I did our PWPAs first, so both of us hold that cert.
I did, and I found the PWPA very realistic.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to go in there and just SQL map and dump the database and be on the server. It's very realistic.
Yeah, you got to move around and all that fun stuff. Yeah, I would say reporting. So I come from a DFIR background where the reports that we did had to be specifically for like legal audiences and, you know, cyber victims. So reporting is something that I have never gotten away from here in cyber. It's something that I've like practiced at, have gotten really strong with. So the more that you do, the better that you get. It's like any other type of practice, right?
Yeah, and most places you go will have some kind of reporting system or some kind of a template.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
some
I
stuff
have
to
not
copy
found is
paste.
a great. What was it?
Some have like databases to copy paste, or if they got that real money, they can fill in for you.
Yeah. I haven't found like a great open source reporting platform yet. I will have need for it at some point. So if anyone has any suggestions, y'all just like DM me on the side.
Open source for reporting.
Yeah, for reporting.
Oh yeah, there is one. I haven't looked into it too hard, but I've heard good things. It is open source too. I'm gonna
Yeah.
find out. I don't want to talk out of my
Um,
ass right now.
I know I remember one.
I think it was
I don't
this
remember
Raptor that I'm talking about.
the number.
Yeah, what's the matter? Thing, why are you beefing with the burp UI? I kind of like it. What did the burp? What did the burp UI do to you? Not used
Just
to it
getting used
enough.
to it.
What are you used to?
Uh, do we have another Zap
If you
in the
want to feel
house?
good about the burp UI, just use Zap for a little while.
We need to get you like a Zap T-shirt, Beef.
I do use Zap a lot. I have Burp Pro, and I still use Zap sometimes. Because if
You
you
like a
want all
Zap?
your stupid, like all your silly little header and content security policy and stuff finding, Zap just grabs them so quick. Scan.
Mm. All right, so we're gonna start a fund for a trucker hat for Beef.
I'm
Has Zap logo on it.
gonna see if they have that. I'm gonna look for.
Look for that. Get that.
Check marks owns
Um,
it now.
when are you planning to take the test?
Uh, I'm hoping within the next month.
Mm-hmm.
I just got some stuff going on.
Yeah, a couple little things.
Yeah, a
You
couple.
got going on.
Another
Yeah, I
one
told myself
today.
to take it in March, so I've got kind of this commitment to myself. Um, that's what my goal is.
I mean, I do this for a living, so I should be able to pass it like now. But it's like test web apps all week and then spend my weekend testing a web app. Like, oh man. So Hams is asking how I approach a web app. Follow a checklist. I used to when I first started out. I used to heavily follow like, the OWASP. There's like a OWASP Excel sheet. You can, make sure you check every box. Um, Now I kind of have, I have a way that I do my enumeration at first, and I'll stick to that pretty religiously. Um, but then, as I'm getting into the app, I just kind of like freestyle it for the most part. There's certain things like those low end informational findings I know I'm going to find in every app. So I'll grab the cookies quickly at first. I'll grab the headers. I'll go over the Nmap and the burp scan. I'll kind of grab all that like low hanging fruit first, and then from there it's just kind of like a day of playing with the app and seeing, what's it doing. Getting a good look behind the scenes, maybe reading any JavaScript that looks interesting. Then from there on out, it's kind of just freestyle. I think
Yeah,
everybody wants
last
to
week.
start out with a checklist at first, and it's just like it's not realistic because every app's different.
Yeah, last week was interesting to listen to Jason Marcello from TCM kind of go over his like methodology. He only got to like right before he was authorized, had some type of authentication to the application.
Yeah.
But if you're interested in the methodology there, that's a good one to check on the YouTube channel if that one's up already.
And honestly, after getting to hang out with the guy for a little bit, I think our methodology is very similar. It's like
Yeah.
it's like when you first start out, you're so afraid you're gonna miss everything,
Right.
and it's just not. It's not gonna. Oh, we have one of my coworkers in the audience now. I don't want to. I'm not gonna out him if he doesn't want to be known as my coworker.
I was about to out him. I was about to just say it. I'll be nice.
Maybe he secretly doesn't really like me.
I don't think that's possible, Beef. Sorry, dude. I don't think that's possible at all. Do y'all have any other questions about reporting? Definitely, we could even get into like, external, internal network stuff, all of that. If you have any questions.
I'm sorry, but I have to share this. So we had like an all hands meeting today at work. Now that Jacob mentioned my beard in the chat. We had like an all hands meeting. So like all the contractors, think 80 to 100 people or whatever on this meeting. I had somebody message me after the meeting. So like I don't work with, they're not in my department, to tell me like my beard is sweet. It's like,
Amazing.
okay. There was
Amazing.
135 people in that meeting, and my beard got picked out.
Pretty hot stuff. I mean, magnificent beard.
Thank you.
I appreciate someone tossed a Santa in there.
I may or may not have a Santa suit. Actually, you can find it on YouTube. I wore my Santa suit to a TCM. Was it like a TCM holiday special? Is that what it was?
Yeah, was that last year or this year?
It was 2023.
2023.
Yeah, I wore a Santa suit.
10 points to whoever shares a screenshot of Beef in a Santa suit on a TCM stream.
The good old days.
The good old days. Sometime, Hamza asked me when I was planning on taking the exam. Sometime before March ends.
Oh, and I have
So,
to. No, that's not me.
it's not you.
Is that Artie Lang? Bad Santa. Was Artie Lang in Bad Santa? I think that is.
But I really appreciate that someone shared that. That is most excellent. No one's confirmed if Beef actually smells like beef. I have a feeling he doesn't.
No, I got some. I got some nice cologne. What is it? It's like a fancy cologne.
Leave it.
I treated myself. I don't remember what it is. It's like one of those
Okay.
fancy like Dolce and Gabbana colognes or something.
Ooh.
I don't want to smell like a bison beard.
This is why I love this community, because we can talk about web app and then we can talk about something so silly as people smelling like beef. I appreciate both spectrums.
Not just in these type of things at work too.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. It's a constant fight to not get fired at work for being inappropriate. It's fine. It's casual.
Yeah, everything's fine. I'm gonna send you the docx for this, so you can put it on the
Okay.
G Hub. Oh no, wait, I can edit things on the GitHub now.
You sure can. I believe you can edit that. Feel free to edit it to your heart's content.
Okay, I'll put it on there somewhere. I'll figure out where to put it.
Yeah. And then I know that Beef and I are interested in kind of continuing something like this. So if you all kind of thought about maybe getting the SOC certification just to kind of see what's up there. I don't know. Y'all let us know if you want to see any other live stream and if we can do anything else like this with everybody. Because I certainly kind of enjoy like hanging out with folks and meeting everybody.
Should put a poll up on the server.
Server poll, not
Yeah.
a different type of poll. In case I mumbled that.
What, the North Pole? I don't know what you're talking about.
Server poll.
I don't know what other type of pole there could be besides the North Pole.
There are none others.
I
They're
don't know
just
what.
the servers. Yep. Just in case I mumbled. The North Pole, where you live, Beef.
Yes. I'm gonna do the BSCP next, just because I think that's badass.
That is badass. Yeah. I might need some one-on-one tutoring for that bad boy. Anyone else down to do the burp? The burp cert?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go back and do Security Plus. That's what I'm going to do. You do the burp cert, and I'm going to go take a multiple choice exam.
All right.
Just kidding.
That's fine.
Maybe I'll just make another exam.
Arubius is coming on next week, so he could talk about his BSCP too, if anybody wants. I don't think I'll care.
Oh, yeah. That is a great. So next week, we're going to, of course, have Arubius on. He's got both, and he just got the BSCP. So, multiple guests. Excellent. Yes. So he's a really good resource, and Arubius is like fantastic gift to the community style person, like just, willing to help people and stuff like that. So next week I think will be a really awesome week to hang out.
Yeah, he's a pretty sharp young man. I'm going to talk like an old person.
He's near me here in Texas. I've been trying to get him to hang out with me. Just have to force him. Maybe we can go get some beef barbecue.
Some brisket. That's my favorite.
Yes, sir.
If I can't get a ribeye, I'll take a brisket.
Yep. About the pool. I don't know what the pool means, but I will. Is it a threat? Oh, poll. Yeah, the server poll. I will. Server poll. That's right. I almost couldn't remember what type of poll we were talking about. Anyway.
The North.
The North. All right, y'all. Well, Beef, what you think? You want to wrap up for the night?
Yeah, we can wrap it up. I hope one or two or maybe half of y'all found my reporting useful or will find it useful. If you decide to take the exam or whatever in the future for some reason.
I can say confidently, and Ping is on here too, that what you presented tonight, Beef, it will absolutely, if you put enough screenshots in there, that is absolutely good enough, perfectly fine and acceptable for a TCM security certification report, for sure.
Try to take some of the complication out of it, trying to make it simple.
Thanks for staying up, Hamza. Thank you for supporting. We appreciate it.
Sure, dudes.
Not asleep. Better get some rest now, or drink lots of espresso. Either or, it's up to you. All right, everyone. Well, y'all have a great night, or morning, or day. And if we can, seriously, if Beef and I can do anything for you guys, if y'all have any questions, please just let us know. Beef's been in the server for a long time, but I would love to help out however I can. So just hit me up.
Yeah, just slide in my DMs.
Slide in my DMs. Not in a weird way. Don't do that. I'm married. Don't do that. None of y'all would do that. You're all professionals.
I would maybe say something other than just like shooting a blunt question at me though, because I get people all the time hit me up on Discord, and it's just like, "You help me with this now," and I was like, "Who are you? I don't even know who you are." So like, "Hey, this is so and so from Hack Smarter. I came to your study group." Like, talk like a human.
I just texted him on the side and told him you help me now, in case anyone was wanting to know what I was doing in that silence.
You're allowed to talk to me. You're allowed to talk to me in that way.
That's right. That's right. All right, everybody. Appreciate y'all. Have a great one.
Later, homies.